Jinx the Mad Bomber has blasted her way into 2x KO. This Sparky Spitfire packs quite a paralyzing punch with her arsenal of artistic artillery. With bullets, rockets, and traps, oh my, there's almost nothing she can't throw at you. So whether you're playing as, with, or against her, it's important to learn what she's got up her sleeve. Or, under her tank top, I guess. She doesn't really have sleeves, does she? Jinx is the premier zoner character of this game. She stands in direct opposition to her sister Vi. Jinx succeeds at far ranges but loses up close. This is due to a lot of factors. Her slow mobility and buttons combined with her lack of defensive mechanics. This creates a character that, I'm gonna be honest, I quite liked. As an Arcane fanboy, Jinx was naturally going to be a character I was going to gravitate to, but speaking personally, she might be my favorite designed character in the entire game. Sure, she's a character with pretty pronounced weaknesses, but those weaknesses just make her a more well-defined character. It is insanely fun to circumvent her slow mobility problems in order to get to the better character that lies underneath. It feels like min-maxing a D&D character. It's not exactly like playing Yasuo, who doesn't have any mins. He just maxes. Jinx's S1 is Pow Pow, where she lets loose a barrage of bullets from her minigun. This button can also be held to extend the duration of the bullets launched. It's a powerful projectile, but it doesn't have great range, so don't think you can just hold this down at full screen. Her back S1 is Pow Pow Up. She fires another barrage from her minigun, only instead of firing forward, she does it up and at an angle. This is a great situationally powerful anti-air, and in my opinion, should really be what you use to learn how to anti-air. Your go-to anti-air should still be down heavy, but if you're ever too late or you're worried about mistiming something, you can always use Pow Pow Up. You'll just miss some of the damage you could have gotten from using a down heavy into an air combo. Her down S1 is Fly Clappy. She throws up a flying monkey bomb called Clappy that gradually flies across the stage. This move can also be used again to change the trajectory of Clappy. Is he in the air or is he on the ground? And it can also be supercharged by hitting it with any of your specials that use your gun, making it fly faster, do more damage, and applying a capture state if it hits the opponent. Jinx's forward S1 is Flame Chompers. She throws out a little hopping bear trap named Chompers that can attach to the opponent and blow up after a delay. This can either give you a combo opportunity if it hits the opponent, or plus frames if they block it. This move can also be held down to throw Chompers further. It will just have a longer startup, meaning you can sometimes get clipped out of it if the opponent reads when you're going to throw him. I wanted to mention Clappy and Chompers together because they form a very important foundation of how Jinx zones. She's not a character like Morrigan or Frieza who just throws projectiles at you. She actually has setup involved with her zoning. So much of your zoning as Jinx is going to be about setting up Chompers and Clappy in a way where you can't get punished for the long startup that they have. I could do a whole video on Clappy and Chomper setups, but honestly, you just need to know to get them out there whenever you have the chance. Jinx's S2 is Fishbones. Whether on the ground or in the air, she's just going to fire a rocket from her rocket launcher Fishbones. This is your standard projectile and one of your go-to safest options to zone with her. Down in S2 is Fishbones Hop. Jinx fires a rocket at her feet and blasts up into the air. This is a great move to use for additional mobility since it allows you to get into the air to use air zoning. However, it also has an added property where if you press down forward or down back, you'll also fly forward or backwards respectively. This hop also has the added benefit of OTGing, allowing you to pick up after you hit an opponent on the ground to link into a super or an assist. Her last special move is very situationally powerful. It's just called Zap. By pressing back in S1, you're able to fire a supercharged blast of Hextech energy from your pistol. This blast goes straight through other projectiles and applies a capture state if it hits an opponent. A very powerful tool that can be used against other zoners and an easy way to pick up combos. Because of that, Zap has its own special cooldown that you can see over Jinx's super bar. This bar will gradually fill up as the match goes along, and once it's full, you can use Zap. Jinx's S1 super is Pachu Bang Pew Pew Boom Boom. She loads up a firework into her rocket launcher and fires it straight up and at a diagonal angle. The firework then explodes and let loose a barrage of explosions in the air. This is a situationally powerful move that can be used after OTGing with down S2 to tack on some extra damage at the end of a combo. Keep in mind, this means the opponent will be able to air tech, so you won't get any advantage from a knockdown. Her S2 super is Shoot 'em if you got, Zap. She loads up and fires a big beam of energy from her pistol. This super can be done on the ground or in the air and at a horizontal or diagonal angle. Just make sure to hold up or down respectively to change the direction it's going to shoot from. This is a very powerful super that can be used in neutral to snipe opponents, as well as a clever way to OTG if you want to go into a super without worrying about using her S1. Plus, it's arguably the best double down super in the game. Her ultimate is Super Mega Death Rocket Monkey Cannon. Jinx disappears and summons a giant artillery monkey-faced cannon that lets loose a giant nuke on the stage. The rocket will fly straight down at a diagonal angle, hit the ground, and then explode, dealing massive damage. For being a zoner, Jinx actually has some pretty cool combos. If you're really into her, you can try and learn rocket loops, which involves doing delayed heavies out of jump into S2. But if you just want to keep it simple, a large part of Jinx's kit revolves around using her down heavy in midair. This move's a foot dive that does a ground bounce and allows you to follow up for a second air combo after you initially hit with it. Simply go for light medium launcher on the ground, jump to follow, and go for medium heavy in midair with down heavy to ground bounce. Then go for another launcher and do the same thing. And if you ever want to get a hard knockdown, all you really have to do is hold heavy while in midair. This will cause you to do a super powerful hammer attack that knocks the opponent straight down to the ground. Because they're on the ground, you can also use down S2 to OTG and do a super. However, you might not always be at the perfect range where you can get a launch with 2H. That's okay, because you'll probably have access to your back S2 zap. Whenever this thing is locked and loaded and ready to go, any hit with a projectile can be converted into a combo, so long as you do S2, back S2, and then follow up. It's also a really good idea to use your dash medium attack in situations like this, since it has a long startup but a lot of active frames, meaning it's much easier to hit in this situation. And again, if you get the hit, just go for launcher, medium, heavy, foot dive, and keep doing the same combo. Worry about your rocket loops and clappy combos later. Jinx has the best projectiles in the game, no question about it. While a character like Teemo might have better set play with his mushrooms and crap, but Jinx's combo of Fishbones, Clappy, and Chompers makes her way more consistent. She also has deceptively good normals with a really good heavy attack that's really easy to confirm out of. She also has really great set play, especially in Double Down with Clappy, Chompers, and her S2 super, even if she has been power crept just a little bit by Teemo. However, she does have pretty pronounced weaknesses, the first of which being that her defense kinda sucks. Not only does she not have access to any invincible moves like Vi's parry, but also her normals are pretty slow. What this means is that Jinx has an incredibly preferential range that she wants to play in. If a skilled player gets to that range, she can really show off. And this is ultimately what I love about this girl. Unlike a character like Yasuo or Echo who just wins everywhere, you actually have to try to succeed at Jinx. And once you start succeeding, it feels even better because you did it all by yourself. Even if your sister turned her back on you, you can still become a big, fat hero with Jinx, the Mad Bomber.